What is SQL injection? A type of security vulnerability that occurs when an attacker is able to manipulate the SQL queries made to a database by inserting or injecting malicious SQL code into the input fields of an application. This can allow the attacker to access, modify, or delete data within the database, potentially leading to severe consequences such as data breaches, loss of data integrity, and unauthorized access to sensitive information.
So now let's quickly talk about the impact of SQL injection attacks on the database. First of all, the data breach. As we know, in simple term, it's like a hacker breaking into a company's database and stealing personal information like your credit card details or confidential business secrets. This happened to the target in 2013, leading to the theft of 40 million credits and debit card records. Second of all, data manipulation. It's like an attacker who can change or delete data in database. This can mess up the business operation. For instance, in 2008, a hacker manipulated the data of Heartland payment system, causing financial chaos.
To prevent SQL injection, we primarily use parameterized queries, also known as prepared statements. This approach avoids the risk of SQL injection by allowing user input to interfere with the query structure. Here are vulnerable code example. In this example, the user input is directly concatenated into the SQL query, making it vulnerable to SQL injection attacks. Now, let's see how we can rewrite this code to prevent SQL injection. By using a prepared statement, the query structure remains constant and user input is safely handled as a parameter, preventing any potential injection. However, it's important to note that parameterized queries can be used for untrusted input in parts of the query such as table or columns ordered by clause.
One of widely used tools for SQL injection is SQL Map. It is an open source penetration testing tool that automates the process of detecting and exploiting SQL injection flaws and taking over database server. SQL Map is highly comprehensive. It covers a wide range of SQL injection techniques, making it a powerful tool for penetration testers. One of the best features of SQL Map is its user-friendliness. It is easy to use with command line options, which allows even less experienced users to perform complex SQL injection attacks. Additionally, SQL Map is very versatile. It supports multiple database management systems, providing flexibility for testing various environments.
Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to show how to perform an SQL injection union attack to retrieve data from other tables. And in this particular tutorial I'm going to use the lab from the Web Security Academy of Portswigger. And in this lab, the goal here is to retrieve a table called users with column called username and password. And if we click on the accessing the lab, we're going to be shown this website, and we can choose a few of the categories here. If we click on one of it, for example accessories, as you can see on top here, the category name is being sent to the database as a part of the SQL query, and the goal here is to inject this function right here to inject some of SQL query commands, and the goal is to retrieve the table called users, and eventually we'll find out what the password for administrator is. And to do this, there are going to be three steps. The first step is to find out how many columns are being returned from the original queries. And in order to do this, we can use the order by SQL query command. And to inject it, first we have to add an apostrophe so that the command will be separated by this apostrophe, and then we can type order by, and we first try to order it by the first column. And the double dash here is essential. Why? Because it's going to make the rest of the original query to be commented out. So the SQL query is just going to be from this point until this point only. and the rest of it is going to be commented. And if we click enter, as you can see, the order of the items shown here is different from the previous one. Now it is separated, or it is ordered by the title right here. As you can see, C, G, S, and Z. And now we try to do it order by the second column, order by 2. And now the item shown is ordered by this content right here. As you can see, G, T, W, and W. And now we try to do it for the third column. And as you can see, it's shown that there is a server error, and it means that the third column doesn't even exist. And what we can define, or what we can get to know from that, is that the original query only returned 2 column. So we keep it in mind. The second step is to find out what type of content is being returned from the both of the columns that the original query returned. If we analyze it, we can deduct that it is actually string. Why? Because these are just words and words, but it is good to make sure of it. So we can do it by typing union select. We first try to test is the first column returning string or not. To do that, we type A and not. Okay, so since there is no error, it means that the first column did return strings, and as you can see, we see an A right here. And then we tried for the second column. Is the second column returning a string too? So you type A and there is no error. It means that both of these columns return strings. So we can proceed on to the last step, which is the retrieving process itself. Since we know that the original query returns 2 columns and both of the columns are string, it matches with our goal right here, which is we want to retrieve a table called users that have 2 columns, which is username and password, and both of these columns are string, so we don't have any problem with that. So in order to retrieve the column or the table called users, we can use the union and then select the name of the columns that we want to retrieve, which is username and password. Username, password from the table, the name of the table, which is users. And boom. Okay, so as you can see, now the database return the table users, which show the username and password of the users. And if you scroll down here, as you can see, there is the administrator and then its password. So we can copy this and try to log it. But let me show why is it important to make sure that the original query and the one that we want to retrieve return the same number of columns. If, let's say, we want to retrieve 3 columns, but the original query only returns 2 columns, it's going to be an error. Let me show you right here. Okay, so now we want to retrieve a total of 3 columns, username, password, and date. And as you can see, it shows that there is an error. So that is why we have to make sure that the original column return the same number of columns that we want to retrieve on the other tables. In this case, the users table, there are 2 columns and the original query also returns 2 columns. So let me proceed with this one. We copy the password and then we go to login page, administrator, and the password. And okay, So we have already logged in as the administrator and we have solved this lab. So that's all. Thank you.